My name is Anand. So I stay in the UK. I'm an engineer by profession. So this job. Uh, so I was diagnosed with ulcerative proctitis back in 2019. I mean, my symptoms started back at the end of 2018, but then the diagnosis happened near to the mid of 2019, where I was told that I have ulcerative proctitis. My symptoms were like blood, mucus, diarrhea, blood and stool, basically, mucus and diarrhea. So yeah, I did a bit of searching and stuff, and then came to know that this is a disease that doesn't have any cure. Uh, to be honest with you, I didn't get any information from the doctor as well. Like, I mean, the doctor diagnosed with me with the disease, but then I didn't understand anything about what he said at that time. So yeah, I had this diagnosis. Then, as with everyone, I just went with what the doctor said. It is indeed, yeah, because I have lots of energy. Like, I feel like unlimited energy. Uh, Great bowel movements. Like, I don't even think about bowel movements these days. Like, just eat uh, properly. It naturally comes out. I think I go probably 2 to 3 times a day, and it's like all awesome, like smooth, relaxed, I should say. Uh, and also, you can eat. I mean, I can eat basically healthy, guilt-free as much as I want. Um, there's like no problem at all, basically, and it's tasty. I mean, it's a misconception that it's not tasty. It's very tasty as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
yeah,
Even though at the beginning of our journey, like the healing process and all, it's quite tough. But then once you come out of it, it feels like you are destined to do it. Like it, I mean, you feel closer to your body itself. Like early, now that I feel, now that I think about it, I feel like I was detached before,
mm,
and now I live, I thrive. I feel more attached to my body. My body feels clean. Uh, so in a way, I should thank ulcerative colitis that I, yeah, that I'm now closer to my body, and each day, basically each day, I talk to my body now. To be honest with you, like, and I know that it's functioning properly with lots of energy, and yeah, it feels amazing as well. So it is. Yeah, I mean, I always dreamt of this day, basically. That it would be cool that if I can give a testimony, and yeah, I mean that, as I said before, the testimonies really helped me a lot during my journey. It kept me going, and I hope this testimony keeps others going and help you help others heal, basically. And thanks, massive thanks to you and Shukul that you are doing this, and I feel like this is really valuable. There is no, I mean, there is not much persons outside where you can get this kind of advice, and I feel like this is really life changing. So thank you so much.
you're welcome, man. You're welcome. Hey guys, welcome to another video. We have the amazing Anand here from the UK who has been fortunate enough to share his journey with us today and just basically tell you about his experience on how he found High Cup Health and what was wrong with him, obviously his diagnosis and like why he chose this path. This is what he's gonna sort of break down for you guys today. So without further ado, let's just introduce yourself, Anand, and just talk about your diagnosis and talk about like where you are now and how it feels to be in this position. And obviously, doing the testimonial, I think you've probably seen so many others before you.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, we'll go from there.
So yeah, my name is Anand. So I stay in the UK. I'm an engineer by profession. So this job. Uh, so I was diagnosed with ulcerative proctitis back in 2019. I mean, my symptoms started back at the end of 2018, but then the diagnosis happened near to the mid of 2019, where I was told that I have ulcerative proctitis. Uh, I didn't know anything about the disease at that time, to be honest with you. And this is the first time I'm hearing something like that. I did a lot of research, and after hearing about that, of course, because my symptoms were like blood, mucus, diarrhea, blood and stool, basically, mucus and diarrhea. So yeah, I did a bit of searching and stuff, and then came to know that this is a disease that doesn't have any cure. Uh, to be honest with you, I didn't get any information from the doctor as well. Like, I mean, the doctor diagnosed with me with the disease, but then I didn't understand anything about what he said at that time. So yeah, I had this diagnosis. Then, as with everyone, I just went with what the doctor said. Mm, Initially, I had taken some suppositories and stuff. Uh, it at first it had some effects, but then that gradually degraded. My symptoms coming back again. Yeah, but then I didn't want to take that route. Basically, after researching a bit, I know that these medicines would have some, what do you call that, side effects, and on a long term, I didn't think that was good for me. So I did some research. I first found the book Self-Healing Crohn's and Colitis from David Klein, Dr. David Klein. Yes, that's the one. And uh, when I was reading reviews for that book, that's when I came across you guys. Like, somebody mentioned your name, and then later I contacted you guys, and then yeah,
Here
then the
we
story
are.
began. Yes, exactly.
So
Uh,
let's break down a little bit more about what you're feeling like now, so that the
mhm.
audience just understands like how your
Yes.
life is, and then we'll break
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
what you went through. So just talk about your life now
Mhm.
and how epic it is, I guess.
It is indeed, yeah, because I have lots of energy. Like, I feel like unlimited energy. Uh, Great bowel movements. Like, I don't even think about bowel movements these days. Like, just eat properly. It naturally comes out. I think I go probably 2 to 3 times a day, and it's like all awesome, like smooth, relaxed, I should say. Uh, and also, you can eat. I mean, I can eat basically healthy, guilt-free as much as I want. Um, There's like no problem at all, basically, and it's tasty. I mean, it's a misconception that it's not tasty. It's very tasty as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm gonna share some of the photos of the foods that you sent me as well during your journey.
Yeah,
And it's just, I
yeah,
mean, the amount of food that you can eat, and the
yes,
variety as well. And as we sort
yeah.
of worked our way up, I don't think you're bored of the food that you eat. I think, even though it's,
No, absolutely
quite
not.
similar, every day, but you just love it's because you feel so good, right? The digestion is like,
Yeah, exactly,
and
exactly. Yeah.
you obviously understand now what is health, what is proper health, right?
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I mean. Like, doesn't the food is not boring as such. It's like it's really good. I mean, it tastes really nice, and there are techniques like oil-free cooking, which I was not at all aware of before. Like, when you delve into these things, like there are things that you can do to make it tasty, and
Yeah.
no additives, nothing. So it's proper food, isn't it?
Yep. Well, it's so amazing that you have your life back pretty much. I mean, like
Yeah.
your life now is, I mean, simple, easy. You don't have to think about it,
Yes.
right? Like what you said.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mean, is there anything that like you just what are you grateful for, I guess, and what has sort of come from this journey of yours? I guess what's the most something that talks to you, or something that calls out to you the most, that like, wow, I'm like in this position now, like I can't believe it.
Well, so I think this is a cliche that everyone might tell in your channel, but this is something that uh, I feel like that is the best thing that has happened to me. Like, uh, so even though at the beginning of our journey, like the healing process and all, it's quite tough. But then once you come out of it, it feels like you are destined to do it. Like it, I mean, you feel closer to your body itself. Like early, now that I feel, now I that I think about it, I feel like I was detached before, and
Hmm.
now I thrive. I feel more attached to my body. My body feels clean. Uh, so in a way, I should thank ulcerative colitis that I, yeah, that I'm now closer to my body, and each day, basically each day, I talk to my body now. To be honest with you, like, and I know that it's functioning properly with lots of energy, and yeah, it feels amazing as well. So
I guess you understand your body a lot more now, right? Like what it's
exactly, yes,
and why
yes,
it's doing it. And that's what we
yes,
teach you obviously during the program is that
mm,
how what are these symptoms that are coming and
yes,
how the healing process, and I guess we'll touch on that a bit later, but
mm,
you actually you understood what your body was doing, so therefore it made it easier to go through the process when you do have some kind of symptom. You
mm,
don't feel scared, right? Like that fear isn't.
yes, that's right, that's right. I mean, when before contacting you guys, when I first read the book, uh, me and my wife, we tried to follow that diet, but it's not that easy. Without guidance, it's like even the book itself is. I think you will agree that it's quite rigorous, right? The diet that Dr. David Klein suggests is quite rigorous. So it's without guidance, it's I think it's going to be real difficult for somebody to follow it.
Hmm.
Uh, so and it's also like with you, you are quite flexible. Like it's not like you would say that you have to stick to this and you have to go cold turkey. Uh, I think our journey, for me, it was a gradual process. Even when I was taking the diet, you itself said to me that take it easy, man. You don't need to go that hard on first initially. Like so that kind of easing to the diet is it was pretty good. Even though, of course, I think I started when I started the transition journey. At the beginning itself, I went into healing. Like I think around 1 week later itself, I started my healing process, and my symptoms like worsened. But
Hmm.
then you were there always. That you are someone who had gone through that, and that was pretty important. That somebody who has gone through that telling you that it's okay, these are normal and what these symptoms do. I think that was pretty important. I know that I've told you every week that I have chatted with you that after chatting with you, I feel more better. I feel much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that I feel is pretty important.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I mean. The book is just a guide, right? But when you have the
yes,
someone that's done it before you, and that's,
mm,
like I guess that's for anyone out there as well. Like if you're gonna listen to someone, if you're gonna listen to doctors, like doctors don't necessarily know how this condition works, and they may not know the feeling that you get or the symptoms, obviously. So,
mhm,
when you have someone there that's gone through it and been in a
yeah,
really bad state of health like I was, and
yes,
to be in the position that I am, like you want to probably follow that person and be like, hey, well, what's he doing? I
yeah,
want to do what he's doing if he's been able to succeed in his life and not have any
yeah.
problems. Like, hey, yeah, let's do what
Yeah,
he's
it's a blueprint that I have in front of me, right? You are the blueprint.
yeah,
So yeah, basically,
well, it makes it easier for you to go through the process when you know that
yes.
these are the signs and that my body is telling me, and
Mm,
that if I pursue and if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to see the changes, and obviously that's what happens. But
yes.
the fact that you had no doubts, in that
Mhm,
process, and you were really confident in what you were doing. That's what changed, I think, the turning point in your journey. And so let's actually break that down a little bit. But
Hmm.
let's talk about why. Like, why did you do this, and why did you not continue to take these medications, or why didn't you listen to the
Hmm.
doctors in a way? Because I think this is a key part of your journey is that you actually started to take control of your health, and you wanted to take
Hmm.
control of your health, not rely on someone else. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what our program is about, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
we guide you so that you can actually take control of your health, and you
Yeah.
become your own doctor, obviously.
Yes.
So what was it about the sort of medical model that you didn't
Mm.
want to go down? Like, why did you not want to take these medicines?
Yeah. So as said in the beginning, like I had researched about these medications and the side effects were. I I have seen that. I mean, initially, I think when I was diagnosed, I had been put on, I think, prednisolone, suppository. Uh, I it was, I don't know what, I don't remember now. It was like 6 years back, but no, 5 years back. But yeah, I took it for probably 1 month, if I'm not wrong. And at that time, yeah, it felt good that the medication immediately started working and it was okay. But then I think it after that I went medication free for probably 6 months, 5 months. Started again. The symptoms came back again. They put me on another dose. Uh, Again, 6 months, 5 months, started coming back again, and they put me on oral medication then. Uh, so one thing I knew is this is going to come back again because that has been the pattern, and also the time frame for which it was working started reducing. Then with oral medication, I was told that you have to take it lifelong. As long as it's needed. Probably they might have tapered it down basically, but it was continuous. Like I think 4 pills a day, two in the morning, two in the evening, something like that. So I knew, I mean, I was always worried about these medicines. It's not like this was the first time I was having issues. I was always against taking long-term medicines. So yeah, I didn't want to do it basically. And even in the beginning itself, I started researching a lot about what can be the cure, what I can do to fix it,
Yeah.
and not rely on the medications. And yeah, then rest is
Fantastic.
history.
Which leads me on to my next question is that, like, how did you find out about us? Obviously, doing the research that you
Mm,
did. Why did you
mm,
basically choose us? So, what was it
mm,
that made you think, okay, well, I want to work with these guys, and
mm,
I guess their videos make sense. What was it that really pushed you over the edge to go, okay, I can do, I want to do this.
mm. Yeah. So I first researched when I first researched. I got to know the book. I started reviews of the book, and in one of the reviews, I don't know whether he or she was your client or not, but that person mentioned high carb health. So that's when I started researching more about you guys, found out you guys. Actually, this was back in probably 2021 or something. At that time, I didn't actually go on and delve into the journey, but I tried following it myself. Went into went into a lot of trouble basically because juicing and stuff, and then the symptoms started increasing a lot. I was scared, my wife was scared, and we just stopped it at that time because, yeah, as I said in the beginning, it's without guidance, it's gonna be a lot of I mean, you don't know what you're doing at that time, right? And you don't know whether these are supposed to happen. So it was difficult. So I knew that I needed guidance, but that at that time I was not in the hundred. I was not 100% sure whether I should be following that or not. But then later on, when the symptoms came back, then I restarted the searching and stuff. Saw a lot of your testimonials. I think that was really important part of it. I got the confidence that this is gonna work. And also, thing is like I was okay with changing my diet. It was not like I was. hard on with any of these sort of. I was a vegetarian, by the way. I was always a vegetarian. But I ate a lot of, not a lot, but I ate cheese, dairy, lot of yogurt. Yogurt was one of my favorite. Uh, so all these things, oil. I should mention that. What do you call that? The Indian pickles, all those kind of things, basically. So, but then I always had this in me that I could change my diet. That was not something that was a hard task. I later on say that it was really hard, by the way. But yeah, that's what I thought always. So that's why I didn't have much problem going through the program as well. So yeah,
Cool. So let's talk about the program. So I guess
yes.
your healing journey was yeah, it was interesting because there was a period
Mm,
of time where you did actually struggle quite a bit, where your symptoms did
yes,
increase. So
yes.
I guess talk a little bit more about that and I guess how you dealt with it and
Hmm.
you know, talk to the audience on why that happened as well. And
Hmm.
what, from
Hmm.
your knowledge and from your understanding, why do you
Yeah.
think that happened? And like yeah, and describe like that time, and
Hmm.
then we'll move on to the next step, which is like
Yeah.
what happened afterwards. So describe
Hmm.
that scenario.
Yeah. So I think I started my journey mid of February, and we started with the transition diet. So I had this big email from Shikul where he had a comprehensive list of what needs to be done, all the information, all the materials. So yeah, I started the journey. I think I started the diet basically and 1 week later, my body went into overdrive. My symptoms all started increasing. So there was blood in the stool, mucus, diarrhea. Uh, One thing that was not there and that came was the loss of appetite. I had severe loss of appetite, and that went on for probably around 1.5 months, if I'm not wrong. And loss of sleep. These two were the most difficult things I had to deal with. And it was quite intense because uh, some days I just went with just juice in the morning and I couldn't eat anything else. It was interesting because I didn't know that I would be able to survive with that things. My wife, she was really worried as well. But then you were always there to uh, tell me that this is okay, that this is how the body goes through the detoxification, and it's okay. I mean that gave me a lot of confidence and it kept me going. Um, and also the loss of sleep was really bad. I probably slept 2 hours, 3 hours a day. I just went to bed early at probably around 8 o'clock and just twisted, turned, just couldn't sleep. I didn't even know I was sleeping because I was always awake and probably slept 2 hours, 3 hours just before sunrise, and it was really bad. I know we've talked about it a lot, and you gave me some suggestions of music, hearing
Yep.
music and stuff like that, soothing music. But yeah, it was really tough, and the lack of sleep and the loss of appetite really affected me at that time. I was not going out of my room. It was like I was just going to the toilet, coming back to the room, always, almost always bedridden, like yeah, no energy. It was really bad at that time.
I
Yeah.
remember that time as well, and obviously you were actually dealing with it really well. Like, obviously, I work
Mhm.
with a lot of people, and a lot of people do struggle through that phase
Yeah.
because it's just there's a lot of toxin that's coming out of you. That's why you're
Yeah.
going through that process. And I think
Mhm.
once you understood that, you were like, okay, well, my body's doing this for a reason,
Yeah.
so you know,
Mhm.
I need to go through it. I guess what was the turning point in that time where you
Mhm.
decided or where you thought, okay, well, my body's doing this, but I know that there is a light at the end of that tunnel. What was it that
Yeah.
sort of helped you with that?
So yeah, I think the one important thing that we have to, I mean, for me, the one important thing that happened was the mental aspect. So I started doing a bit of meditation, sorry, meditation, sorry. and prayer. Basically, yeah, I became more inclined towards my faith as well during this time. Like uh, some prayer, and that really gave me the confidence. And also, I think that literally that was the turning point in my journey as well. Like my energy started coming back, my appetite started coming back. Uh, my so that mental aspect, I feel that's is really really important. You have to find a way to cling on to something that gives you the fuel to go ahead, basically. And that aspect of my journey was really, really important. I still follow it, by the way. In fact, I have increased my meditation time, my prayer time, and that has me going even to the date. So that I feel, I don't know how many have said that in your channel, but I feel that is really, really important. And you yourself have said that to me multiple times, right? So the mental aspect, I believe that's really important. It's as important as the food that we eat, probably a bit more than the food that we eat, I would say. So yeah, that happened, I think around after 2 months or maybe 1.5 months, and after that, it was an exponential improvement for me. Like I never looked back after that. So yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. I think once you started to see the changes, you were like,
Mm.
yes, this is what he's been talking
Exactly.
about, right?
Yes, yes. I think
Yeah,
once you go through that, and once you go through the things that we go through, and then once you start seeing improvements, it's like, wow, it's amazing, isn't it? It's really good.
and this is even better than what you had previous to getting this condition, right? The feeling that you have when
Yes,
you go to the bath,
absolutely.
like when,
Yes.
when you start to see that change, you notice that,
Hmm.
hey, this is actually better than it was before. And that's why I think
Yes.
it makes you stick to it even more.
Yes. Exactly.
But definitely your
So
point,
yeah.
your point on the faith aspect,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
yeah, that's a pretty massive integration with healing within
Hmm.
yourself because it's the trust that
Yes.
you have, right? It's the trust,
Exactly.
it's the
Yeah.
direction that you've been given by a
Yeah.
higher power, and you
Yes.
basically you learn more about yourself because of that too,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah. It basically gives you the fuel to go ahead, right? It's like it gives you self confidence. It gives you the energy that, I mean, it believes, it makes you believe in your destiny as well. Like I always believe, from that point, I believe that this is gonna be my destiny, and that helped me a lot to go forward. Like I never had to think about stopping the diet, basically, because once I started seeing the improvements, it was all, as I said, it was always exponential. I started seeing improvements. Even I sometimes started seeing improvements each day, and it was amazing. And as you said, it feels better than now than what I had before, and that keeps me going. Like, why do you want to go back? I don't want to go back. Basically,
Exactly.
it's so good. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So, question is, I mean, a lot of people talk about the detox or healing phase
Mhm,
and things like that.
mhm.
Would you go back and do it all again if you knew that this was the position you'd be in?
Absolutely. It's like, yeah. I regret that I haven't start. I mean, I didn't start the program before, because it right now it feels amazing. I mean, even in the things that you do daily, right? You have lots of energy. Like I I just keep going, and like it's so amazing. Even once, so earlier when I used to eat food that I used to eat, I used to have a lot of I felt like very heavy after each meal. Now it's like so light. I mean, so good. Even my colleagues, they have commented the amount of food that I eat. Like they say, you said you was not supposed to eat more, and I'm like, now I can eat anything I want. Like it's so good, and the quantity of food that I eat is like amazing, and still I feel so light after each meal. It's good. And thing is, it's so easy to digest that I feel start feeling hungry again in another 2 3 hours. I said to you this before, right? After the loss of appetite, and when my appetite started coming back, and I started eating lots of food, and I used to comment that I'm feeling hungry after 2 3 hours. And the my calorie intake also went from probably around 500 a day when I had the loss of appetite to like 2,700. I think you saw that, right? In the app.
That's
So
it.
it's like amazing. And I think nowadays I'm eating that much calories, but still still no heavy feeling, no bloating, uh, everything all good basically. Smooth bowel movements, by the way.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's it's because when you know what foods to eat,
Yeah,
this whole process becomes so easy. And I think then
yeah.
as we started to introduce new foods, uh,
Hmm.
you were even more happier with what you were doing and
Yes.
you know, let's talk about that now as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
your
Hmm.
food that you eat now. I'm gonna show some pictures of some of the foods
Hmm.
that you make as well, but how are you finding it? I mean, obviously during the healing, it wasn't the easiest because there was a little bit of restriction.
Yeah, yeah.
But you still eat those foods today, and it's
Yes,
just
I do.
about incorporating other foods on top of what
Yep,
you've built, right? And that's
yep, yep.
essentially what I was telling you, that the
Hmm.
foundation is key, and then we add to that foundation to make it stronger. And so that
Yes,
describe
yeah,
some of your meals, I guess, and how much do you
yeah.
enjoy the food?
So morning it's fruit. I was always a savory person, so I never had much of fruit before, but now it's always fruit. I crave for fruit now, like morning, and unlike some other people who has come, or unlike you basically, where you had a lot of smoothies, I like to eat my fruits. Like I just like to chew my fruits and eat. So I'm not a smoothie person. So that was one good thing about the program. So you are very adaptable. You said to me, yeah, if this is the way you like it, you have it. And that was one really good thing for me. Like I didn't have to follow something to the T. I could customize it, and you were there to basically tell me whether it's okay or not. So right now I eat fruits mainly. Bananas, of course, mangoes. That was my go-to fruit basically. Mangoes, and luckily for me, it was the season. Even though I'm in the UK, there are a lot of Indian mangoes that come into the UK. So I was like having like 3 mangoes a day in the morning, sometimes 4 mangoes, bananas, blueberries, uh, grapes. So initially, I think I was avoiding. I mean, you advised me to avoid all the acidic fruits. Even I didn't have strawberries as well much. So it was mainly mangoes, bananas, uh, blueberries. So these are the main go-to fruits for me.
And
And
dates.
then and dates, yes, yes. And in the afternoon, I went into cook food where I had potatoes, broccolis. Uh, by the way, I never liked broccoli much, but now that's one of my favorite food.
It's amazing.
Uh, yeah, potatoes, of course. I like potatoes a lot, so it was okay. Even then, when I had in the beginning, I didn't have much potato. I didn't like to have much potatoes because it was very bland. I felt it was very bland. So the salt, that was one thing I really missed during the journey. Like I had to cut down on salt, and I feel like that also triggered my loss of appetite because I knew that I was not able to take much salt. But then gradually, I feel like now my taste buds have adapted, and I don't need that much salt. So yeah, and I also feel the importance of support that you need. During my journey, my wife was there to support me, and she's still there to support me right now. But that played a very important role for me. I mean, the funny thing is, during the initial phase, she would try and cook me a lot of foods, but then I'll take a sip and I'll say, I don't want it. It was really difficult. I think I told you this. It was really difficult. I was feeling really guilty as well that she is making a lot of effort like this and I couldn't eat it. But then once the things started improving, all these things, whatever I had earlier rejected, started becoming more tasty. I feel like I went through a cycle where I detoxed, my taste buds changed, and now those things feel so fresh, so tasty that it's no problem, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what, so Anand is South Indian, so he eats
Yes.
amazing food. I mean, South Indian food is my favorite. So I'm from, I guess I would say North India, from Mumbai, but South Indian food is my favorite. And I guess just talk to us about some of the foods that you eat now and
Yeah.
like the traditional foods that you
Yeah.
know probably were eating but then forgot about them.
Yeah. So one of my go-to food is Italy. That was there in the journey as well. Like when you suggested me that I could eat a bit of Italy so that I could help with my appetite, and so that was one of my go-to food in the for dinner. So I ate a lot of Italy's. I still eat a lot of Italy's. Dosas, that's also pretty good. I earlier used to eat a lot of rice, but now I have cut down on rice. Then there is I used to eat a lot of mashed veggies, like cook all the veggies together, especially the root veggies like carrots, potatoes, yams, suran. I don't know what you call in English for that. It's probably yams, isn't it? Then plantains and all these things I will just cook together and mash it and have it. It's so good. It's so good. I cannot explain. I mean, I cannot tell you more about that. It's so good.
Yeah.
So that was always. I mean, probably you'll share some of these photos. So like that was there always with my diet. Like one of probably both the meals, afternoon and evening. That's always one side of it. And I used to eat a lot of mashed veggies. It's really good. Then there are some other foods like avial. Again, it's sort of a mix of a lot of veggies, and yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. It's great that you've been able to reintroduce all these different foods as well,
Hmm.
and you know your threshold. So I think this is something
Yes.
that I talk to you about as well, is that don't push it too far,
Hmm.
and just make sure that you are understanding again of your body and you know where you are at. And I don't
Hmm.
think you're inclined to go and eat things that you did in the past as well now. And I think
Yeah.
because we have that sort of foundation and that gratitude of where we
Okay.
came from, I think
Yeah.
that allows you to just be like, all right, I'm not gonna do anything silly with myself. I'm gonna maintain this
Yeah.
this way of life because
Hmm.
I feel fantastic. I mean, do you
Yeah.
do you have a few words about that and what you're gonna do in the future as well?
Uh, I haven't touched dairy since. So even as I said, yogurt was one of my go-to food, but then now no, I don't need it basically. For one of my substitute for yogurt is my all these fermented foods. Like I eat sauerkraut. We had this traditional way of pickling mangoes and lemons and stuff. So I eat pickled mangoes, not the Indian achar, where they put a lot of oil and spices, sorry, chili powder and all. This is just plain pickling. Uh, so I eat that. So I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything now. Uh, then, I mean, the funny thing is like, a the craving basically goes off. There is no craving, and if I eat, I know that even if I try to eat something, I won't like it because the way that my body has tuned now is to eat. If you, I mean, is to sense clean food now. I have tried some oil, some fried stuff, and I didn't like it because yeah, taste buds change, right? Like before, earlier when we were adapted to the previous diet, uh, you crave for that, right? Now I crave for clean food because I've been eating that for probably what 5 months now. Uh, so good, and you don't have the urge to go and eat something like before. So that's the best thing. Like the body is amazing, basically. That's what I tell to my body every day. Like you are amazing, because you adapt so quickly and it's so good that there is no need to chase the other foods, basically.
Well, I don't think people necessarily understand how good you feel until you're actually
Mhm.
there. Like, remember when I was
Yes.
telling you that you get there, and once you get
Mhm.
there, you'll be like, oh, that's what you're talking about, Shamiz, you
Yes,
know?
yes.
And I
I
think
mean,
that's
yeah,
where
yeah,
people,
the testimony. Sorry, yeah, the testimonials. I when I used to hear a lot of your testimonies, by the way, and that helped me a lot during my journey. That gave me assurances that yes, it's gonna be okay. Uh, in testimonials, and everybody speaks about how good they feel after this. You won't know it until you get there. Basically, it feels so amazing. Yeah, I cannot tell you enough. I mean, I play a bit of sports as well, like not professionally but socially. And my energy levels are so high. I mean, I don't feel much tired as well. Like it feels so good. You'll know that. I'm pretty sure you'll know that once you go through it. It's really good. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. So let's talk about them then. Then what advice would you give to someone that is going through this process and that is maybe struggling or, is going
Mhm.
through a hard time? What would you say to them?
Just take the leap of faith and join the program. I mean, you won't regret it. I'm pretty sure you won't regret it. Look, I know it's difficult in the beginning, but you just have to keep the faith. Uh, it's yeah. I mean, from my experience, it's been really amazing now. Like, even my wife, she knows it. Like, I have the energy to. I mean, during the journey, during the period when I had the symptoms, a lot of symptoms, I never used to go out. Like I was in my room pretty isolated. Now I don't I don't feel like I'm tired at all. Like I go through the whole day without much problem. So it's if you are struggling, I mean, to be honest with you, you don't have much choice, right? That was one of the thing that made me do it as well. Like it's a choice of whether you want to go full on medication or surgery. As a matter of fact, immunosuppressants. Do you want that, or do you want to just try out the diet? Because you don't have anything to lose, basically, isn't it? Just try out the diet. I'm pretty sure it'll work for you. Just have to keep the faith.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, wise words. And I guess, this has been an amazing journey. And last question, actually, would you have seen yourself um, in this position before you started working with us?
No. I mean, I had tried some other, like I had tried homeopathy and all. I mean, it worked initially, but then later on, it just stopped working. So I had tried some other stuffs before I went into this, when I mean, joined you guys and started this journey. But that time, I didn't have much, what do you call it, what's much results, even though I improved a little bit with homeopathy and then just stopped improving and then became a bit worse. So, no, that's the short answer. Well, I thought like, I mean, to be honest with you, when I before started working with you, I thought like, when I decided that I'll start the program, I was thinking like, if this doesn't work, I don't know where I'll go. I really had that feeling like I have tried everything. Now what should I do if it doesn't work? But thankfully it worked, and yeah,
Well, it made sense.
that's
It made
yeah,
sense.
that's why I believe that this is part of the destiny, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But also because it makes sense, right? Like, I mean, whatever
Hmm.
you've done in the past, like, it's not going to compare because this is the true way of
Yeah,
healing, right? Like,
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
why I think this is everybody's destiny is to eat this food because
Yeah,
it's what the most natural thing that you can do for your body. And
that's
I'm
right.
glad that you took this on board and you went through the
Hmm.
tough times and you got out of it and here you are. And I don't think, I mean, you're going to continue doing this for the rest of your life, aren't you? There's no need to change.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there is no need to change. That's the thing, right? If you're feeling amazing with what you're eating, and you can eat it guilt-free, how much ever you want, why do you want to change it?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
as simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your journey.
No
I'm
problem.
going to say this, and as I say to everyone, you now have a life after colitis,
Thank you.
a life after IBD, and
Yes.
it's just great to be able to share your journey. And thank you for doing that. And And I guess it's almost like you probably want to give back to people that are also listening,
Yes. Yeah.
the people that you listen to. Uh,
Yes.
you're one of those people now sharing your journey. And how
Yeah. I mean,
was that?
it is. Yeah. I mean, I always dreamt of this day, basically, that it would be cool that if I can give a testimony. And yeah, I mean, that, as I said before, the testimonies really helped me a lot during my journey. It kept me going, and I hope this testimony keeps others going and help you help others heal, basically. And thanks, massive thanks to you and Shukul, that you are doing this, and I feel like this is really valuable. There is no, I mean, there is not much persons outside where you can get this kind of advice, and I feel like this is really life changing. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome.